G'day mate and welcome back to Factorio with me, JD. We're doing another base tour today. Alright, this time we're looking at Mathew Pocock's base. Now, I've been chatting with Mathew for months now. I actually looked at his base quite some time ago, and I actually linked down in the description to his YouTube channel where you can actually go check out his YouTube channel and see him working on his base. At the same time, I will link, hopefully up the top right hand corner, to the previous tour of his base I did. And as you know, all these tours are around about half hour long, so, you know, we have a good in-depth look at every base we have a look at. Yeah, Mathew, I've been chatting to Mathew for, I don't know, 6 months, a year now. He does his own experiments in creative mode and confirms things that he already, you know, has been told by the community, which I love seeing. I love seeing somebody that goes, no, just because you tell me it's better, I need to prove that to myself. I want to actually confirm that that's better myself rather than just taking somebody's word for it. Which I love doing. It's one of those things that I really look forward to doing each time I get onto, you know, a base and have a chance to do so myself. Or somebody comes through with a, you know, I don't know, the last example I can think of is, you know, bots is better than belts. I'm like, don't think so. I actually think belts are a lot better in a lot of circumstances than belts. Same with timed circuit conditions for smelters, right? That was a long ongoing debate, which is more UPS efficient for quite some time. And with a lot of trial and effort, and people have actually proven, you know, that actually, no, technically what is better for your base is just insert as it swing. No time circuits, no nothing. Anyway, that was, again, when I spent a lot of time and effort myself, along with listening to other people on my Discord and that I talk to regularly, you know, giving me their feedback and their test examples, and me saying, well, you're doing it right, except this needs to be changed slightly to get a more true, you know, true indication of where we're up to. Anyway, so Mathew Pocock, completely off topic. So this is his base. He's got a lovely timer up here. I do have to work out which mod this is and steal it, because I love being able to look at, see how far I'm into a, you know, into a playthrough, very, very quickly and easy. Now, it's a little bit mod heavy, and let's do a save game. So we got aircraft, bot landfill, cliff deconstruction, equipment hotkey fix, Factorio contest, which could be this one, I don't know. Max rate calculator, nuclear robots, power armor Mark III, resource labels, vehicle snap, water fill, auto research base, iPod on creative mode, and playtime 16. Well, playtime 16 is the one I want. See, that made sense after you just look through the mod list. So, fairly stock standard base going back to this end. So we've got our unloading. I think I mentioned last time that I'm really not a fan of the short trains. You know, short trains into. He's still got the same balances. They're still 50% throughput limited. But, you know, the base is not running at full speed, so it really doesn't matter too much. And 6 to 4s, 8 to 6s, yuck. So, yeah, into smelting. Smelting's nothing special. I am curious, what's it running on? Solid fuel. Upgrade it. Put nuclear fuel on. Just burn the nuclear fuel. Nuclear fuel not only looks cool and definitely has the will of cool going for it. It's just like all this uranium has no use whatsoever. Let's be honest. This is his little uranium build, which I actually watched him go through and set up and work out, and it's a beautiful little build. It all runs on belts. There's no fancy smarts or anything else. It doesn't need it. The only fancy smart it looks like he's got is a simple, hey, if you don't have uranium, we'll put some uranium on there. Otherwise, loop this back. I would have worked out how to do this without any smarts, probably. Yeah, probably with side loading. Just because I hate smarts. It's something that, you know, once you set it, it should be a set and a forget, but often you set it and then you forget how it works. Yeah. So, uranium. Iron, copper, iron, raw resources, coal, bricks, steel. You know, it's a pretty stock standard. There's nothing too special here. He has worked out the base right from square one. What's going to go where on the bus? What color belts they have to be for later on down the bus, right? To get the throughput that he needs. Right. his splits, which I think I mentioned last time, they keep pulling off one side of the belt, and that requires you need to rebalance them every now and then, like this. Yeah, waterfalls work mostly now. They're like 90% working. But yeah, you know, just little nitpicky stuff. So going down, and I've got all the power armor with all the speed. Maybe too many legs. So we've got concrete. Nice and simple. Because the base has been concreted, I fully understand this scale of concrete needed. We have the everything needed to make you run faster power armor. Along with some lasers thrown in here to do the laser defense. We've got explosives, which is probably going to be important as he does have biters turned on. And did I say the base was not small at all? It's not small. The pollution's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. Obviously, he needs to crank it up a notch. Either that, or he's had to revert to turning pollution off because my UPS. Oh, that's the one I want. That's the pollution one. I hit laser range. Yep. So pollution's pretty bad. I am watching my UPS slowly cave on this base because it's a big base. We've got a battery build. We've got a electric engine build. I am a little bit disappointed these don't have prod mods. Same with these ones. I'm a little bit disappointed that they haven't been prod modded to hell. You know, not that the bus is really moving at this point. He has moved a lot of things off-site. This has really become the leftover starter base that's turned into a sort of make everything. We've got green circuits. We've got a red circuit build. Wow. So what's this? We've got green circuit onto a belt, direct insertion off copper cable. I've got to... I'm really curious. Hang on. I'm going to do that again. Does this baby actually work? So this says we're not getting enough copper cable, but I disagree because it's backed up. We have an overproduction of green circuits. We have an overproduction of plastic. So I'd say it definitely works. It's definitely neat. I'll give it that much. It's very, very self-contained and, you know, does the job. Definitely. That's an input of plastic. That's the output red circuit, input plastic. Long-handed for copper cable and for green circuits. Yeah, it's a wonderfully compact little build. Well, compact. It's a wonderfully self-contained build. Compact it not be, but no red circuit build is compact. I do like the fact that it goes left and right rather than all my builds are long and they'd start at the bus line and end up down here somewhere. So kudos. I love it. I love it, and it's probably so that goes in there. We're gonna mix the speed beacons and non-speed beacons. I'm guessing it's just a meh. Don't need to worry about it anymore. Problem. We've got a blue circuit build, which is again, I think I know I did this at one stage. I can't remember whether. Yeah, actually, I remember. I actually suggested the Exterminator do this during one of his playthroughs. A direct insertion for blue circuits, and I love this. It means copper and iron. And red circuits in for blue circuits out. It means when you start prod modding, you know, it's all done. The one caveat I have to say to that now, after playing more and more bus bases, is it means I'm putting prod mods in here that should blue circuits back up, which it looks like it's getting close to. Some of these guys aren't outputting, so it means these prod mods are currently doing nothing. Whereas had I had more green circuit builds, you know, with prod mods in it, in theory, I could feed the green circuits in here. It's one of the things I have done in a couple of my playthroughs. I've had these guys being fed direct insertion plus a separate green belt from the bus as a backup, you know, so I've covered my bases. But yeah, we've got a blue circuit build. We've got speed modules. Speed 1, Speed 1, Speed 2, Speed 2, which output to here, Speed 3, there we go. They're self-contained. Self-contained, perfect ratio, love it, love it, love it. We've even got some smarts. Oh, that's really smart. So it's saying I want 1K, 1K, and 5. Because 5 is all you ever need for speed modules. And these are turning off half the inserters, or all the inserters, to turn these builds on and off. So hopefully no wastage. So yeah, we've got our good old robot frames. Robot frame build, we have a... There has to be a reason for this. I'm assuming it's wood burning. Bring wood in, turn the wooden box, turn into wood, shove it into here, turn into wooden boxes, shove it. I'm assuming it's a wood burner. I don't know why you prod mod it. I'd speed mod the crap out of that. Or just let it run slowly because it'll burn eventually. We've got accumulators and solar panels for the solar farm. The solar farm of all solar farms. He's popped down. Along with sulfuric acid. Nice and simple. Nothing complicated. Here's running liquids on the bus, which you'll know I'm not a fan of. But, you know, it is what it is. I normally run liquids just where they've got to go to. No bus. They don't go on the bus. They just go through the builds, around the builds, wherever it happens to be. But, you know, I am a fan of the spaghetti, so we'll just leave that there. We've got yellow ammo into red ammo, into good old defender capsules, into distractor capsules, into... they're the good ones. The destroyer capsules, we've got some red ammo, some green ammo to keep all the biters at bay. More red ammo, because you can never have too much. Never have too much ammo. Some nukes, you know... artillery shells, uranium cannon shells. Oh, I love that. Explosive uranium cannon shells for when everything just must die. Classic grenades. Like we've definitely got a war cabinet going on over here. Artillery shells, a belt of artillery shells. Oh, that's the train I wanted to show off. These guys. He has done the same as I did. He's got an automated boom train, which goes and delivers all the important things. Ammo, uranium shells, artillery shells, out to the stations that require things to go boom. So it's just automated defenses outright. You just build the front line, put down all the blueprints, and then just leave the artillery to sort out all the biter problems. We've got our make everything, which is, you know, this is your standard width make everything. With, it looks like a little bit tacked on the side. So we've got all our combinators, our chests, and then, you know, all the really high-end products here. So your nuclear reactors, your artillery, automated artillery. That's the serious boom factor. I don't think I've automated artillery yet. I've just handcrafted what I need. So yeah, you've got a fairly comprehensive make everything with your much more standard early make everything. You know, all the belts, gears are made on site, and look, I said it during the last base tour that I just did of Mathew P. That's who it was. That I'm becoming more of a fan of having a dedicated gear build somewhere, which then I can prod mod really easy and early on to then upgrade everything. Right. But yeah, you know, belts, inserters, miners, assemblers. You know, labs is a bit extreme, but you know, your stock standard. We've got a bot-based tack on, which is not automated back into the network for some reason. I'm assuming there's a logic there, probably because you can just walk by and pick stuff up. Although, no! He did a copy-paste and it doesn't all fit in the chest. But yeah, normally you just walk by and pick up what you need. Like, you want shields, just walk by and grab 4. Anyway, there's that. We've got the labs. The labs are going... not at all. I hope I haven't broken it. Nope, I haven't broken it, because... Science has obviously been moved off site, and it's doing a nice 1.8k per minute. It's not quite the 2k limit, but I'm considering it's been running this way for quite some time. I'm willing to bet it's been built to be a 1.8k lab, a 1.8k science build. We've got the old red and green science being retired. We've got a military build, which again has been retired. Blue science retired, purple science retired. Oh, I like that. With direct insertion of both speed modules. So you make a speed module every 15 seconds. You do one of those every 14 seconds. And then you overproduce by 1. I like that. I do like that. Where is one of these? So that's 12 long. And I'd normally build it 7 long. Yeah, that'll overdo it by a little bit. That'll done. I like that build. We've got our rocket build all fed with belts because why not? Which looks like it's stopped because we've hit our quota on science. So we've got, you know, all the basics to make rocket science, along with satellites. Now, I don't know why there's wood on the belt. I don't know. Maybe Mathew will jump in the comments and tell us why there's wood on the belts. I'm assuming it's for a very important reason, like, yeah, I'm assuming that's the really important reason. I'll just clean up that belt just a little bit. But, you know, it's not as if he's short on satellites. It's obviously happened some time ago to have this much belt free, but, like I said, this whole science base has been decommissioned. Now, we've got oil being delivered at this end into the refineries. We'll actually go check out the refineries. So, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about, like, a refinery build. A proper, like, let's go all out refinery build. Unfortunately, it's backed up in petroleum, so that means we can't see it running at full speed, but I actually think he's probably hit the limit on what a oil pipe will actually run. And maybe a water pipe, unless the water pipes are all different. I'm assuming, yeah, they are. Yeah, that one's for cracking, that one's for petroleum creation. Go faster. Yep. We've got our stock standard cracking. We've got some heavy cracking. We've got some lube. Heavy wraps around here and runs. In theory, it's got a little bit of preference towards lube first because these pipes will obviously fill up first before it gets to these pipes. I'm really am a fan of having a pump controlled smart cracking system, so it only runs if, you know, things are low enough. Heavy to light cracking pops out this side. Petroleum refinery light pops out this side. It means it shouldn't ever conflict. Shouldn't. I'll say shouldn't. I got no idea where... Oh, rocket fuel's up here. Of course it is. Rocket fuel, which is unfortunately via petroleum. So we'll just look at this really quickly. So it's 10 light oil for 1 solid fuel, or it's 20 petroleum for 1 solid fuel. It takes 30 light oil, aka 3 solid fuel, to make 20 petroleum, aka 1 solid fuel. So this I always find it is the easier way out to just turn everything into petroleum, take out petroleum, turn it into solid fuel to run everything. But I find it's a little bit of an easy way out. I'm a much more of a fan of using our light oil to make solid fuel and like whatever's left over turn into petroleum. Just because, you know, I'm basically rather having 3 solid fuel. I'm cracking it first, and then getting 1 solid fuel out of the same amount of light oil. Just putting it out there. Just saying. Okay. We're gonna have to jump the plane at this point because the base be massive. And any excuse to fly a plane, right? Now planes are not slow. So, ooh, there goes the plane. Okay, stop. Okay, we've got an oil outpost. Again, nothing special. Just like you know, pump it, shove it, train fast as possible. Oil outpost. Let's go to a copper outpost. Same story on belts. I am, like I said, I am a fan of belting outposts now. Really am a fan of that. That's maybe a little bit too far to belt it. Probably not after the belt optimization. Okay, every 200 belts counts as 1 item. 1 belt. So technically, between there and there is 1 belt length. So, no, I call that close enough. That's close enough. That's good enough. And of course, this will load so fast, it's not funny. Boom, 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 boom. Half loaded. Yeah, that'll load beautifully. I would say because everything's backed up, I probably have 6 inserters on either side, just because I could. You know, there's a little bit of excess that could load faster, possibly. You know, just saying. Definitely so when I'm doing it. Oh, see that belt's not flat out, so maybe not on that one. Uranium. I'm really hoping he is. Oh, he's actually bringing down the rocket fuel to then on site. So on site he has conversion of uranium ore into good and bad uranium, into Covarex enrichment, into rocket fuel, into a rocket fuel train. Apart from the train's no pathing, but that's besides the point. I love that. I love it. Let's just do it all on site. Let's not even bother shipping the raw products out. Let's just do it all on site. I do love that idea, that concept. Now, he did expand early on, and I got to see some of this. He expanded early on and started doing this, and got in some solar power and that sort of stuff. I think he's running... No, he's running lots and lots of steam power, which is running on steam turbines. And before anybody complains, it's one of these will run one of these without an issue. And, you know, it's going to do fine power-wise. It's going to chew some water, but water's pretty free. Apart from some of these... Oh, they're all turned off. They're all controlled, probably from a single accumulator. Yep, A equals 100. Single accumulator. Yep, so they're all being turned on and off as required. But yeah, he's got a lovely frontline defense to keep the nasty, evil biters at bay. And then has expanded out. So expanded here first. And then he's expanded, and I covered a lot of this in the previous walkthrough. Or base tour. We'll actually go up and have a look-see at the new smelting. Okay, stop playing. Stop. Okay. Planes are great. They're fast, but they don't stop. So again, he's got, you know, ore in, plate out. Nothing too complicated there. It is all run by smarts, because I know he's a fan of smarts, and I know he's really good at smarts. I, on the other hand, not so good at smarts. Don't like using smarts because I'm not that smart. At least that's the excuse I'm going to stick to. But he has automated everything. Like, bots get delivered, so it's got the right amount of bots in the network. Alright, it is very much a dump and walk away system, which I have to admit I am a fan of that part at least. The one thing I'm not a fan of is he's still using... Here we go. No. He's using filter inserters, and you see they're not running. And this one's broken because it picked up some stone along the way. This is a bad example. We'll go to this one. Okay, this side of this one. So you'll see that this stacks up with plate and then empties at once, because it is using filter stack inserters, and then every... if I find out where the smarts are for these things... Here! Found it. So every 77 ticks or so, it does a 75 ticks. Every 75 ticks, it does a output of swing the damn inserter, which in theory is less UPS on the game overall. Again, I'm not a fan of it. I've in my own testing and other testing other players have done, we've actually found that controlling inserters like this is overall slower. So you've been warned again, Mathew. It is technically slower. But yeah, it's your fairly standard smelter block, you know, or in, plate out. It is a 12 beacon setup. My only nitpick would be probably that I'd be putting the plate on this side and moving all this over 2 tiles. Because 2 tiles doesn't matter a lot, but when you're pushing UPS limits, 2 tiles is, you know, it's 2 tiles further every bot has to go in this direction. Also, the more centralized it is, it means the more likely are, like, there's plate here, but no plate here. They're flying to this one, more often they're flying to this one. They're flying to that one before, more often than flying to this one. This one's got 128 plate in it. This one's got 6 because it's a shorter distance to here than it is to here. So it's 2 tiles further they're flying that way, but also like 4 tiles, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish. Yeah, it's more tiles in this direction. We'll just leave it at that. So yeah, smelter blocks. We've got iron. Because, you know, can't have enough iron. Nearly. We've got steel smelting, which is unfortunately plate in, steel out. Not a fan of that. As you know, I much prefer, you know, direct from iron or to iron plate to steel. Just because, again, it's less trains pathfinding. It's less everything. Now we play the game. Where did I leave my plate? Right there. Copper, straight ahead. Let's go. Ooh, that was a smarts. What did that smarts do? Oh, that's how much ore we got in the system and how much plate we got in the system. I love it. I love smarts. I love smarts with flashy lights. Oh. Okay, we've got a copper system. Same story. I'd be switching these over, putting them in on the inside. You know, squishing everything up by a couple of tiles. But you know, it's copper. It's the same as iron. It's nothing too complicated. We got a green circuit build up here. You seasick yet? Which, as I said, I watch Mathews' channel when I have a chance, right? And this was a debate that both me and him had in the comments, which then flowed over to Discord. He has pretty much stock standard direct insertion. Problem is, the assembly machine, the green circuit machine can actually run faster than the cable machine can. The cable machine is not fast enough at the best of times. So to overcome that, he has a couple of extra machines, and it is ratioed to be correct. Right? A couple of extra machines to just produce copper cable, which then request them up to this box and drop them in. The problem is, as you can see right now, there's no copper cable available on the network, which means technically it's probably not running fast enough. Even though these machines are going flat out. But for me, it's extra bot travel. It's extra bot travel. It's extra bots doing stuff. It's extra UPS costs for probably no real gain. And same story. I'm looking at this and I'd be like, okay, I want this train, the iron train, the copper train to be hard up against one another, with it having 3 going one side, it having the 3 copper being. Can I blueprint? So I'd have 3 iron with 3 copper like that, so they're hard up against one another, and I put green circuits on the other side. Just little nitpick things like that I would just trying to squeeze that last little bit of performance out of a game. It's one of those things. As soon as I start going under 60, you guys don't see it that often in my videos. I'll just say, yeah, I'm under 60. I don't really care. In the background, I'll do what I can. I will really start trying to optimize and squeeze that little bit of last bit of performance out of builds. He does have extra signals down here to get the next train pathing in as fast as possible. You can see this train backed up hard up against the arse of the other one, and it'll slide in as fast as possible. All right. What else we got up here? We've got a blue circuit build. Which is just backed up in blue circuits, not using them nearly fast enough. Same story, I'd be tweaking my trains to squeeze them in just slightly. You know, it's the little things. Alright. We've got a red circuit build. Now, red circuits, I have no problem with the bots flying around the copper cable, because red circuits, where are we? Red circuits are 4 copper cable per 6 seconds compared to 3 copper cable every half a second. It's a lot less for the bots to fly around, and as you can see, 72,000 copper cable there. The bots are not moving that much, you know, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 machines. It's not that much. Another red circuit machine, nothing too special. We have, ooh, so we've got a plastic build again. Like, I'd squeeze the trains up, just I'm going to say that for every single build. I just squeeze the trains up just slightly. I'm wondering, no, so he's got, we'll bring up my X-ray calculator for this one. Per second. So the maximum throughput through a pipe is roughly 1800 fluid per second. So he could run a pipe and pipe all the way through and all the way out into the other side. Instead, he's split it in half. So he's got one petroleum wagon this side, which is just emptied, with one petroleum wagon this side, which is probably better than trying to force the petroleum all the way through. But I will notice this tank is full and all the other tanks are empty. Because the tanks don't load balance, you are going to have a situation where half these machines are out of petroleum, but this one's still flat out, because the bots have preferenced this one. Mathew, when you're watching, I would just change this train to a 30-second wait, a 60-second wait, a 5-second wait, just to fill up the tanks and bugger off. Fill up the tanks and bugger off. There'd be some optimal number that you want to set to, but for the start with, I just 5 seconds. Because, let's be honest, this is going to empty that in half a second. Done. Go train. Because this is still half full. So, and by the time this gets 4K out of there, this one will empty. Just because the bots are more inclined to use these ones because they're closer. What else do we have? We have light to petroleum cracking, which is not turned on. Not turned on because... Haha! There's a power switch with smarts. That's the one I wanted. What did the smarts say? The smarts say red equals 0. What's red? Red is... if there's no light, turn it off. No more power. Okay. Well, that's smart. Catch is... if you don't... for those of you playing at home... Yep, train's left. Bugger off. New train showed up. Should turn back on. It has a red signal. Oh, it's probably waiting for a second train. No idea. Smarts are above and beyond my head. There's definitely lots of smarts going on. But nope. But yeah, if you turn off large chunks like this, every one of these assemblers and inserters and everything else uses UPS because they can't enter a off mode. They enter a no power mode, which is entirely different. Get out of that real quick so I don't have to listen to the jet engine in the background. He's doing the same here. He's turning stations on, well, turning builds on and off according to, you know, what the needs of the base are. In saying that, as long as your power is okay, which his looks to be pretty good at this point, I'd be looking at permanently powering these builds up. We got a second oil build, which is, that's a lot of heavy oil cracking. That's a lot of cracking. That's a lot of refineries, actually. That's got to be enough for like 4,000 or 5,000 science. Just looking at my 3,000 base. My 3,000 base is... Yeah, actually, I got 4 banks, and he's got... Okay, hang on. Let's do some max rate calculator. So he's pushing the oil limit, and this is why we have pump, pump, pump. He's probably needs some pumps along here to get the throughput. Is on the border, I would say. I really wish I could. You know what? I can just turn on. We just find a power pole that doesn't look important. Please have spare power poles. There's another train showed up. I need a power pole. You're probably not important. Power pole. Haha, short circuit everything. Oh, it's backed up in petroleum. Crap. That didn't work. Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing he's probably aiming for a 3 or 4k base. Yeah, we've got heavy oil cracking. We've got mining productivity 258 now done. We have actually got solid fuel into light oil into solid fuel into rocket fuel. Wonderful. I love seeing this sort of stuff. And these are now permanently powered on, or they still run through smarts. They still run through smarts. No idea what the smarts do. We have a water pickup because, you know, when you're building things out and about, you need a water pickup. Along with sulfuric acid. So when you go full module, full beacon, and I'm just looking at how long this episode is, I'm going to really have to start cutting down. Yeah, it becomes a 2-to-1 ratio. The problem is getting stuff in here fast enough, and I'm hoping this works for him. I would probably be losing some beacons and going direct insertion. Personally, just so again, less bot throughput, less bot everything. So we've got a speed module build. We've got a yellow science build, which is missing all the prod mods, so that obviously needs a kick in the pants. We've got a really tight battery build, which again, turn off with smarts. This is a man who is a fan of his smarts, which like I can't disagree with. We have a stone brick smelter, again, turn off with smarts. Obviously we don't need bricks at the moment. We have a steel furnace build, which is large. Very, very large. 91 per minute. Oh, because they're missing speed modules in the assemblers. I'd probably be speed moduling the hell out of this, and then seeing how fast they could build and input and everything else, and then chopping out the build to compensate. Yep, words. The other thing I'd be doing is I would be doing that, and then getting rid of that one, because it's one less spot bots have to go. They don't have to go to here. They can just deliver twice as much to there. It does, again, it's the UPS optimist in me that's nitpicking. It's yeah, little things. Grenades, lots of grenades. For a AP ammo build. These are all built nice straight lines. Unfortunately, trains crossing, but there's not a lot you can do about that. A pack station for each one of them. Lots of trains in. A fuel supply on the outside. A logistics supply to bring bots in. So you just drop down the blueprint, tell it to request bots. Bots will get shoved in. Bots get turned off when the build has enough bots. A engine build, which obviously just turned off. And that is another problem. You could have a case of migrating bots because... Oh no, the roboports are powered up permanently. Oh, power down the middle and then power around the outside. Okay, no, he thought of that. He thought of that. Technically, the whole build could move down a tile. Just saying. Just saying. We've got electric engines. Oh, lube on site. Wow. Okay, I've never, ever thought about doing that, I have to be honest. Making the lube on site to make the electric engines. I don't know. Obviously, you don't need this many machines, you know. Oh, maybe you do. This says it's only 0.1 machines too many, so maybe you do need that many machines. Well, there you go. We got a blue science build. Where are all the rest of the science builds? Haha. We got a purple science build. We've got a military build, which is of course going to bring in all the components to make military science. A green science build, a red science build, and labs. The labs is where we want to go to. Where the hell did I leave that plane? Train. Yep. Plane. So go have a look at labs. And then probably the outside wall. Oh crap, what was that build? That's a... Oh, that's the turn plane. Just slow down. So that's gun turrets. That's electric miners. Oh, that's... Oh, ooh. So this is one of the things that there's a lot of bots sitting around waiting to charge. Electric miners is one of those things. It just uses so many resources. Turn around again, plane. Like, hover back that way again. And we've got a... Oh, crap. That's a low density structure, isn't it? I hope. Yes. Okay. Off to the labs. So, labs... Have a light display. I love light displays. The light display doesn't work. Oh, no, it does work. It's designed to have... Oh... I have no idea what it's designed to do. 1, 2, 3... I don't know. Nope, I don't know what the smarts are designed to do. Input signals 1 and 2. Output? Nope. Smarts are above and beyond me. Okay, labs. So we can see that there's more than enough of the science packs in here. The issue is the lab build is not big enough. So lab builds what's actually capped the whole system at 1.8k. Considering there's just about every train backed up, he could probably duplicate this build without any hassle and go from 1.8k to 3.6k without too much hassle. In fact, I'd be willing to bet he could just make the build just slightly bigger to get up to 2k and then double it to get to 4k science. And a 4k science base is nothing to sneeze at. It's actually quite impressive. Lastly, back on the plane. So, solar farm. Because, let's be honest, like nobody builds nuclear when you go on gigabase scale. It's always solar. Solar's that way. We'll turn off that overlay. It's a very pretty design. I am a fan of the design. And here's where we want to be. Stop. Okay. So as you can see, we're in the middle of a solar minefield. The issue is there's been thousands and thousands and thousands of panels have been placed. And accumulators. And no, that's an outpost. Where does solar gets dropped down here? There it is. And there's 150 solar panels and 229 accumulators. So not a lot. But there are materials here and they're not getting put down. Because the bots just have too many orders. There's even... No, there's no free bots. So the bots are busy doing something. Also probably putting down 10 bazillion tiles of landfill. Because... Let's go to that one. You can see that one's been landfilled. A lot of this has been landfilled. That's been mostly landfilled, but you can see right here. The bots are scheduled to put landfill down here. And bots are pretty crap. They're pretty crap at flying around and putting down landfill. Mathew would be a lot better to, during some of his downtime, the bots do a great job, don't get me wrong. They get there in the end. But he'd be much better in his downtime, filling up his inventory, which is not small with landfill, and flying out here and doing a heap of it himself. Because bots just, they suck. They suck at large tasks. Right? Like putting down a whole solar farm in one hit. I remember when touring MegaBase, he said, look, the longest part was actually putting down the solar, and he ended up doing all that manually. He ran down there and did it all with personal bots because it was faster than waiting for the base bots to do it. Because they were just so crap at it. But yeah, with the aircraft mod, you can get out here very, very quickly and very, very easily and put down large swaths of landfill and solar. And unfortunately, none of the trees are marked for deconstruction, so that'll have to be done again. Like, no, I thought I saw some lone bots trying to put down stuff where trees still pop up through the ground. Okay, finally out to the front wall, because everybody likes automated defences, and I think that's a very important part of every base tour, especially when you've got biters turned on. Out of plane. Biplane. So, we have a boom south, which again, smarts. So it's set if red is greater than 0. So this outputs, if everything equals 0, then output a red signal. So if there's no ammo in here, let's output a red signal. This one, same story. If everything equals 0, i.e. there's no ammo left in here, output a red signal. And finally, we have each -1. So that's requesting. So it's automatically pulling those items off and shoving them in that chest, along with packing up stone and wood and shoving it away. So it is an automated system. And apart from having to come out and put down the lasers and everything automatically, this will self-defend forever. You know, it'll automatically add more ammo to keep the gun turrets happy, the guns and the lasers to just overkill. Add more artillery shells to push the biters back to maximum range. So you'll see the range is just not quite there. Yeah, do I have it? Oh, of course I don't have a manual targeter on me. If I did, we could go nuts. But yeah, that is Mathew Pocock's base. I do hope you've enjoyed. I do hope this tour has sort of either shown you something, taught you something, right? I don't know. It is a very, very large base. I will definitely give him that. It is large. It is massive. It obviously, as all mega bases do, needs some work. It needs somebody to come and manually do a whole heap of solar stuff, just so the bots have less to do. And it's one of the struggles I've had in both my mega base series. I've placed down, same as Mathew has, large swabs of landfill and solar, and I've literally walked away and left the machine running for 2 days because I knew it'd take the bots that long to get it done. Had I gone and helped manually, I probably would have taken 3 hours. But, you know, 3 hours of my time or 2 days of bots, or not 2 days, probably 24 hours of bots just doing it in the background. Yeah, I'm lazy. I'm going to go with the bots doing it in the background. All depends on how important it is. And in the case of Mathew, it's not even hooked up. It's not even hooked up to the main grid yet. In Mathew's case, yeah, power's not really an issue. He's got so much solar that he could almost double the size of the base and not have an issue. With so many builds being turned on and off with smarts, I don't know how far he can actually double a base before he has issues. So, I don't know. it's something that you only know with trial and experiment and that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you, Mathew, for letting us have a look through your base. It's actually really interesting to look through bases, and this is why I do it. All right. Oh, this was obviously a forward operating base because this actually came pre-defended with all the goodies: flamers, gun turrets, lasers, everything to keep the biters at bay. All right, even Dragon's Teeth. Apart from like rampant mod and that sort of stuff, I've never used Dragon Teeth. I've never had the need to. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry it's been so long, but you know, big bases take longer to have a walkthrough. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.